these max sets where you guys know I've been preaching a lot, putting into these final sets, everything we got. See George, for example, here, as he warms up, you notice he's only doing 3 or 4 reps, okay? Now, this is a set where the weight here, we want to be channeling enough weight to warm him up, channeling enough weight so we're jumping up in nice increments so our body can get used to the weight jump. If we jump from 80 kilos to his max, you know, he's too cold, he's not really set for that kind of weight just yet. So if we use 100 kilos like we're just doing then for 12 reps which we're going for, it'll fatigue him as well, okay? So the best option here is to go for like, you know, 3 or 4 reps where it's enough to kind of prime you, get yourself nice and set, know what the weight feels like so we have a nice weight increment in jumping. And then once we put that back, we rest up, give him a little bit more time on his final set, then we get our max of 110. Heading it up. Go on. Deep breath in. Up. Easy. One more. You got one more. Right there, son. One more. Up. Oh man, come on. Up. There's a lot of, I guess, misconceptions on how to use it actually correctly. You know, do you pull it apart? Do you keep it together? So what I've got George here doing is, first of all, we don't want to be activating the side delt, so we do not pull it apart, okay? As we come down, brachialis is being activated at all times, okay? It's stretched right out at its full extension. Now, when he comes up, he doesn't pull it apart. All he does is simply twist through, okay? So when he twists through, he's always keeping the weight on the pinky. What he does as well when he comes to the very bottom, you'll notice, he doesn't actually come until it's over. He still has a slight V in his hands when he comes through. That way the weight is always on his pinky and we're really activating that peak of the bicep. That's the key for this, is to finish it for biceps. Really use it as your peak contraction. So when you squeeze through, you start here, and when you shift your wrists around, that's when you should really feel that peak right through the short and long head of the bicep. Good man. Oh. Today, you notice with George's hand position. Now, he's not actually grabbing the bar because it's a machine-based movement, but what we're trying to do is, when you're pushing through solely this part of the hand, and especially on the fixed movement, where obviously the movement isn't going to move too much because obviously it's fixed. When we're trying to push through, if we're trying to gauge it through this part of the hand, it allows us to recruit more chest because it makes us allow and try and push the elbow in closer, which is going to be shortening the chest. Every kind of movement we're trying to do, like I say with the flies, and especially flies, when we're coming through and we're squeezing through, I really like to lock out those elbows and keep the weight on the inside of that palm. So I'm shortening the chest as much as I can. So when I go to like a fixed pressing movement, I do the same thing. I don't actually, if the bar is sitting like this, I sit on and I just tilt it slightly. So I'm always pushing through. It actually saves my shoulders a bit too, because it reminds me to actually keep my shoulders locked back and recruit the chest at all times. So I got Eric here today. You'll notice that I've actually got a blue foam roller in behind his back. Now that gives a better range of motion. What it's doing is, it's making him retract his scaps and traps around it at all times. Now if you look at his chest is always up. Okay, what I always say to people is that when you're doing these kind of movements for chest, the whole time you want to be thinking about holding something in between the traps. So what this does is, when we're holding something in between the traps, like a pencil, we can use this as well because it actually keeps us focused on keeping the scaps rolled around. Now you notice he's actually starting to struggle, okay, because his chest is firing. What we want to do as well is when we get to the top, is when we extend out, try and touch the elbows together, but only coming in line with our shoulders so we know we're getting the chest at its shortened length. Come on, 4 to go. Everything we got. 1. We can keep off that shoulder. Okay. Now, my hand, what are we going to do with your hand? The biggest problem this apparatus here today, you notice a little bit of variation with these handles down the bottom here. Okay, you wouldn't actually call them handles. They're actually kind of things used for leg raises and booty work. But what I've actually got Jax here doing today is we're going to wrap that around his wrist. Okay, so when he pulls up, he won't be using any flexation through his forearms and his biceps, or just be his chest. Very, very fatigued. Okay, so what it allows him to do is really focus on driving the elbow up. Okay, so many people with shoulder movements make a massive mistake. When they lift, it's here and they're lifting the wrist above the elbow, when it should be the other way around. If you lift the elbow above the wrist, okay, your delt is going to be exposed, okay, and that's what we're trying to hit, okay? We're trying to hit the side delt, okay? Now you notice on these movements as well, we're doing variations. So we're going to start with the rear delt coming through, tucking the elbow back, okay? Standing up, hitting a side raise, isolated, and then what to look like a front raise actually is not a front raise, because he's lifting with his pinkies back first and pulling back in this direction, he will be targeting the side delt, okay? So we're moving from the side delts right around, rear delts right around the side delts, and then we're going to be finishing on some sort of a front press. We'll get to that after. But for now, like, the main use for these is to take tension out of the wrists, okay? Because he has a strained chest, there's a lot of bad tension through there and inflammation. So it takes that pressure off, but also isolates the side delts so much more. So it's worth it. Give it a try, those handles. Variation of a shoulder press, of a single arm shoulder press. Now, really great movement, okay? It is fixed. All you simply use is your incline hammer strength bench press, okay? And we just simply alter it so we stand underneath it. What it does is, and the reason why I like to use it is because the handles are actually inverted, okay? And we're trying to target the side delts more with Jax right now because he has his trained chest, so his front delts are absolutely firing. So how are we going to use a movement like this where obviously it is front delt dominant? Okay, so now we're pre-fatigued with the handles before and we've isolated those cables. Then I'll move around. We're still going to be hitting the front delt, but we're trying to hit the side delt as much as we can. So what we've actually got to do is use a fixed movement like this, where there's going to be no shaking around, no overcompensating other areas. But then how we're going to actually execute it correctly is the handles. Because these handles are actually inverted in, right, for a chest press, if we stand up and we use it as a shoulder press, it's actually inverted this way. So when he presses through, it's going to be more on that side delt. So another variation for the side delt. I find the hardest part is sticking to the plan, you know. I find a lot of my clients, including myself, and we spend too much time worrying about others. We got to stay in time with ourselves, you know. So what my point is that the horse in a race has its blinkers on and it looks straight ahead. If it looks to the side, it gets distracted. And with our goals and aspirations, what we want to hit, you know, we need to be staying in our own lane. We've got to be focusing on what's us, because everyone else gets too easily sidetracked, including myself. You know, I've had it so many times before. I've almost lost shows for that reason, because I couldn't pull it together. And I feel like I could have gone way better and destroyed my competition rather than just win my competition if I had the mentality that I'm gaining now and the traction that I'm gaining now. The biggest thing I've learned since turning pro is that, you know, yeah, there's some deep dark fish in the ocean out there. You know, there's plenty of great white sharks, and right now I'm just little feeder fish swimming around. And I realise that, you know, my best progress now is knowing that I'm nowhere near those guys. I'm a very, very long way, very, very long way away. And people can say I'm putting myself down. There is no way in hell I'm putting myself down. I'm being real about it. There's a lot of work to do. And do I think I can get there? Fucking oath I can get there. I believe in myself. But everyone's biggest problem is that they're worrying about everyone else's progress. You know, you can be a little bit delusional at times with the fact that how far you think you've come. And just because I've made significant changes to my body doesn't mean that I deserve to win or go well. You know, this is not a body transformation contest. This is a bodybuilding contest. You have to be the best on the day. And I guess that's the message I'm trying to get across to you guys, is that you're always worried about what else you see over the net. You're worried about your other competitors. You're worried about who you're versing and this and this. You have no power over that, you know, like absolutely no power. And you can't change what they do. You know, so when I see guys and they say, oh, look, I'm going to cover up for the show and all this. Look, man, you're not Kai Green, okay? And even still, when Kai Green says it, he's my favourite bodybuilder, I could never really understand that, because what he does versus what Phil Heath used to do doesn't really matter. So when you show yourself over social media or whatever it is, like, that doesn't mean the other competitor is going to do better now because they're seeing you. You have no power in what they do. When I see myself beating myself every single session, like, even though I just trained then and you know, smashed my numbers, I think it was 5 weeks out or 6 weeks out when I hit that workout last time. I'm 3 weeks out, I should technically be weaker, and I smashed my numbers today. So, I mean, really, I'm progressing, and that's all I can really do. I have no other power in what I can do with the other competitors and what they decide to do, and what they eat, and what they train, and whatever. I just got to focus on bringing my best. What I say to people is, I say this, they go, oh, I'm scared I'm not good enough, or what about this person, or what about that person? Look, whenever you see someone good on social media that you think you're versing, or someone you're intimidated by, right? Think of the time when you go to McDonald's, right? And everyone's been at McDonald's, and you look at the board and you say, fuck, you know what, that quarter pounder looks fucking good, I'm gonna get it. You go get that quarter pounder. When you come out and you open it up, every single time, you look at that quarter pounder and you go, that is not the fucking quarter pounder order that's on that fucking menu up there. That's social media, right? That's what they look like in real life. That's what they look like on social media. I'm worried about what I look like on stage. I'm worried about what I look like at my last show and how I'm going to beat my last show. And that's all I can really do. And if you think of it technically and theoretically, if you beat your look every single time, just like you beat your workout every single time, what will happen eventually? You will eventually win your show. You have to, you know, like, it's just one of those things, like, you will progress. I've been doing this shit for 10 years, and yeah, I fucked up along the way, you know what I mean? Like, I had a party when on my fucking first show, you know, like, you know, I've made a lot of fuck-ups along the way, and you trial and error, and people say, oh, but imagine if what I knew now, and I applied it back then. Oh my God, please, fuck me dead. How many times do you hear that? You know, failure is the best thing, you know? Go out there and learn from your mistakes. Go out and get smashed in your first show. Go and get smashed against a competitor that you might be scared of versing. Where is the only way you can go after that if you're that committed? You can only go up, okay? You know, we've got to be real about it. And my best advice for you guys coming up is you need to think about just, you know, winning every workout, winning every set, winning every rep, making everything picture perfect. Is your diet better than the day before? You do that every single day, it adds up. You do that over the course of the year, right? You will beat your last look. You got to come in more condition, more size, whatever it is, you know, like, don't be worried about others. You can't control what they do. They can't control what you do, right? But they can control you if you're too busy worrying about them. Focus on yourself. You may get called arrogant. Who cares? I get called arrogant. And I feel like once you get into that state, you become very, very powerful. And you become very, very dangerous. You become a threat, and people start to talk about you. And people can start talking negative about you. And if you're worried about people talking negative, that's always going to happen. Because no matter what you do, 50% will hate you, 50% will love you. So why don't you focus on the 50% that are going to love you and make them love you even more, you know? And how do you do that? By staying in your own lane, doing your own thing, and what do they fall in love with you for? Being you, okay? So every single workout we do, every single training session we do, to recap, you focus on you. You beat your records, you eat your food, you do your diet, and all you do worrying about show to show, or transformation to transformation, or body composition, whatever it is, you worry on beating your previous performance. That is the fastest way to progress, guys. Fuck everyone else off, put the blinkers on, focus on you.